Om Om Nam Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. गुण्डं पुसुविनीपीनं मित्रो लोकेश आविशत् पायुनाशेन येनाशो विसर्गप्रतिपद्यते.
The evacuating channel separately became manifest, and the director named Mitra entered into it with partial organs of evacuation. Thus the living entities are able to pass stool and urine.
हस्तावस्य विनिपिन्ना विद्रस्वपतिराविशत् वार्तयासीन पुरुषो यया वृत्तिं प्रपद्यते.
Thereafter, when the hands of the gigantic form separately became manifested, Indra, the ruler of the heavenly planets, entered into them, and thus the living entity is able to transact business for his livelihood.
पादावस्य बुद्धिचास्य विनिपिन्नां वागीसुधिश्याविशत् बोधिनासेन बोधव्यं प्रतिपत्ति यतो भवेत्.
When the intelligence of the gigantic form separately became manifest, Brahma, the Lord of the Vedas, entered into it with the partial power of understanding, and thus an object of understanding is experienced by the living entities.
हृदयं चास्य निभिन्नं चन्द्रमाधीश्य आविशत् मन आसेन येनासो विक्रियां प्रतिपद्यते.
After that, the heart of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered the moon demigod with partial mental activity. Thus, the living entity can conduct his mental speculations.
आत्मनं चास्य निभिन्नम् अभिमानो विसत्पदं कर्मणासेन येनाशो कर्तव्यं प्रतिपद्यते.
Thereafter, the materialistic ego of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered Rudra, the controller of false ego, with his own partial activities, by which the living entity transacts his objective actions.
सत्त्वं चास्य विनिपिन्नं महाधिष्ण उपाविशत् चितेनासेन येनाशो विज्ञानं प्रतिपद्यते.
Thereafter, when his consciousness separately manifested itself, the total energy, Mahatattva, entered with his conscious part. Thus, the living entity is able to conceive specific knowledge.
शिष्णोस्य धोतरापदभ्यां कम्नाभिरुपधत्यते गुणानां वृत्तयेषु प्रतीयन्ते सुरादयः.
Thereafter, from the head of the gigantic form, the heavenly planets were manifested, and from his legs the earthly planets, and from his abdomen the sky separately manifested themselves. Within them, The demigods and others also were manifested in terms of the modes of material nature.
आन्तिकेन सत्त्वेन दिवं देवा प्रपद्दिरे धरां राज्यस्वभावेन प्रणयो ये च ताननु.
The demigods, qualified by the super-excellent quality of the mode of goodness, are situated in the heavenly planets, whereas the human beings, because of their nature in the mode of passion, live on the earth in company with their subordinates.
प्रार्थयेन स्वभावेन भगवानापि आश्रिताः उभयोऽन्तरं व्योमं येन रुद्रप्रासदा गणाः.
Living entities who are associates of Rudra develop in the third mode of material nature, or ignorance. They are situated in the sky between the earthly planets and the heavenly planets.
मुखतो वर्तते ब्रह्म पुरुषस्य कुरुद्रहः यस्तु मुखात्वादणानां मुखो भूद्रब्राह्मणो गुरुः.
O chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom became manifested from the mouth of the Virat, the gigantic form. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called Brahmanas, and they are the natural teachers and spiritual masters of all the orders of society.
बाहुभ्यवर्ततं क्षत्रं क्षत्रियसप्त अनुव्रतः यो चातस्त्रायते वर्णान् पौरुषकर्तकक्षतात्.
Thereafter, the power of protection was generated from the arms of the gigantic Virat form, and in relation to such power, the Kshatriyas also came into existence by following the Kshatriya principle of protecting society from the disturbance of thieves and miscreants.
विसोवर्ततं तोष्यो वलोकवृत्तिकरी विभुः वेश्यस्तद्द्रवो वार्ता नृणां यः समवर्तयत्.
The means of livelihood of all persons, namely production of grains and their distribution to the prajas, was generated from the thighs of the Lord's gigantic form. The mercantile men who take charge of such execution are called Vaisyas.
पार्थव्या भगवतो जज्ञे सुषुम्ना धर्मसिद्धये तस्या चातः पुरा शूद्रो यदवृत्त्या तुष्यते हरिः.
Thereafter, service was manifested from the legs of the personality of Godhead for the sake of perfecting the religious function. Situated on the legs are the Shudras, who satisfy the Lord by service.
मतेवर्णा स्वधर्मेण यजन्ति स्वगुरुहरिं श्रद्धया आत्मविशुद्ध्यत् यजाता सह वृत्तिभिः.
All these different social divisions are born, with their occupational duties and living conditions, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, for unconditional life and self-realization, one has to worship the Supreme Lord under the direction of the spiritual master.
एतक्षत भगवतो देवकर्मा आत्मरूपिणः कं श्रद्धयादुपाकर्तुं योगमायाबलोदयम्.
O Vidura, who can estimate or measure the transcendental time, work, and potency of the gigantic form manifested by the internal potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
तथापि कीर्त्यायम्यद्य यथामति यथा श्रुतम् कीर्तिहरेस्वसकर्तु गिरमण्याभिधासतिम्.
In spite of my inability, whatever I have been able to hear from the spiritual master, and whatever I could assimilate, I am now describing in glorification of the Lord by pure speech, for otherwise my power of speaking would remain unchaste.
एकात्मलाभावचसोऽनुपूसा सुश्लोककर्मोऽलिगुणावदामाहु श्रुतेस्य विद्वद्भिरुपाकृताया कथासुधायामुपसप्रयोगम्.
The highest perfectional gain of humanity is to engage in discussions of the activities and glories of the pious actor. Such activities are so nicely arranged in writing by the greatly learned sages that the actual purpose of the ear is served just by being near them.
आत्मनो वसितो वस महिमा कविनादिना सर्वसरसहस्रास्ते धिया योगविपककया.
O my son, the original poet, Brahma, after mature meditation for 1,000 celestial years, could know only that the glories of the Supreme Soul are inconceivable.
अतो भगवतो मायिना अपि मोहिनी यस्वयं चात्म आत्मात्मा न वेद किमुता परे.
The wonderful potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is bewildering even to the jugglers. That potency is unknown even to the self-sufficient Lord, so it is certainly unknown to others.
यतो प्राप्य न्यवर्तत वाचश्च मनसा सह अहं चान्य इमे देवा तस्मै भगवते नमः.
Words, mind, and ego, with their respective controlling demigods, have failed to achieve success in knowing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we simply have to offer our respectful obeisances unto him as a matter of sanity.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today, we'll just do a small revision of this chapter, the creation of the universe. I'm not even authorized to do this. I'm really, knowledge is so limited. So please forgive me for any offenses and lack of knowledge of what we will be talking. But hopefully, I'm sure there will be devotees over there who can fill in the gaps. And it is obviously a very difficult chapter to fathom because we are, after all, conditioned souls and our vision is very limited. Even great devotees like Arjuna and all would not know the actual the power of Lord Krishna unless Lord Krishna wants them to see himself, So we can only pray to Lord Krishna, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he should shower some mercy for us, to give us that knowledge to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So with that, maybe we could start our Mangalacharan prayers. Is it okay if I can have a volunteer to do the Mangalacharan prayers, please? Anybody willing to do, or I'll do it?
Can I do, Mataji?
Please, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Ajnanatimandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Savati Bhutam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarobhascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे थैंक यू माता जी शिला
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for the lovely prayers. So today, before we start, let's invoke Lord Vishnu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Shri Krishna. So today we are trying to just summarize this chapter of creation of the universal form. So basically, how did this talk come? We should again remind ourselves, why this talk came and who was this conversation between. So all of us know that started off with Uddhava. When Vidura comes back from his pilgrimage, then he speaks with, he sees Uddhava, and then he tried to ask about Krishna, and then after that, Uddhava will direct Vidura to go and speak with Maitreya. So that he can get more information. And then through this conversation, where between Vidura and Maitreya, then Vidura will ask for the sake of mankind, because Vidura is quite a knowledgeable person. He knows so much of how the world was created, the universe was created, but for the knowledge for us. So again, he wanted, so that everybody could hear through Bhagavatam. He was asking Maitreya Muni to please basically explain the creation of the universe. So basically, where this is where it starts off. It actually starts off from the last chapter, from where it started, the whole creation of how the material energy is formed, and how the Mahatattva, which we call as the material energy, the more is a form of Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this starts off from the 5th chapter itself. When we go back, we see that how this the first Purusha incarnation, which is the Mahatattva, is formed from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then what happens from this Mahatattva? So Mahatattva is this external energy of the Lord, where from which is separated from the Lord. So the Lord basically he was all alone in his own form, but then he needed some sort of activities, and that is how this Mahatattva was created. And this Mahatattva in the beginning was just an inert energy. Basically, there was nothing there in this, just a lump of material, but no activity in it. But how the activity was created, this is only through the Lord, through the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He, by eternal time, so we know that time is the main factor. Without everything, time will give us the limit. So with the time and with the glance of the Lord, then the entities inside will get activated, and then the whole material world comes into existence. So we have to understand, into all these living entities is the soul of the Lord. Now, when we look into it, so what happens is, after the Mahatattva was created, then after that, when the Lord has given his energy into the living entities, then he gives the powers to the demigods, to go and perform the functions. But the demigods will not be able to perform the function, and then they actually all of them will go to Shirodaksha Vishnu and pray to come and help him. So there is a beautiful, obviously when we look into this chapter, we will see the prayers are there in the form of from verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, from chapter 5, from 39 till 41. 39 to 51, they will be praying and they'll be actually glorifying the Lord to come and help them. Then that is when the Lord will say, okay, he will help. And that is where it starts off this chapter, creation of the universal form, where Rishi Maitreya Muni obviously starts off by saying that initially all this creation was stalled, there was no nothing happening over there. And then the Supreme Personality of Godhead will go into these elements. So what happens before actually going to the elements? The Lord has created 23 elements. So all the 23 elements he has created first, and made all the demigods in charge of these elements to perform the duties. But obviously they could not perform, and that is when the Lord they'll pray to the Lord with these prayers, and then the Lord will come out. So what are those elements? You have to know from the things. The first total material energy is called the Mahatattva, where it is full of consciousness. And then we have the false ego, the sound. They're all made by different activities of the Lord, actually. So we have the 20. I'll just name the 23 elements. So they are the false ego, the sound, the touch, the form, the taste, the smell, the earth, the water, fire, air, sky, ear, eye, nose, tongue, skin, hand, leg, evacuating organs, genitals, speech, and mind. So all these, again, in the Bhagavatam is described as to how these elements are also formed. So every verse will have a way of how these elements are formed. So then when this then what happens when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he will go enter into each of the elements or by his energy. So how God enters is by his energy. He enters, and then what happens? Once he enters into these elements, then they become activated. They become activated, and then they perform their functions, basically. So these after these elements are activated, then the gigantic form, the Vishwarupa, is formed, which is called the Virata Rupa or Vishwarupa. So over here, what happens is, this is Vishwarupa, is also known as Hiranmaya, or the golden form, basically. And they go into the so before this, the in that rupa they were in the. So what happens is they previously, when they will not be able to perform the functions, then they go off into a celestial sleep. They go off into eternal sleep, and that is when all this comes back again. So the total energy of the Mahatattva, the Virata Rupa, which is there, then they divide into different forms, different entities, and into each different entity, the consciousness of the Lord goes in, and then the activity starts. So it is like any inert material which is, or any living, non-living entity, or any example, if you just take even a human being, if there is no soul, then the body is just a lump of fresh bones and whatever other tissues and everything. But it's this soul which creates the activity. So without the soul, there's nothing. So basically, whatever material energy the Lord has given, unless the soul and the time goes into it, then it's of no use. So the time reminds us that our time is limited, and it is that is the truth over there. So we say like the death is the real reality of life. So that is why it is calculated in time. So the time reminds us of the our limited time on whatever we do or whatever we are on earth. So that is the main factor which keeps the cycle going. So this time is nothing but Kala, or we say Kali, and where in obviously in which people have given a form, which is the form of darkness, and a really very scary thing, which is obviously time is very scary, because every time we can count the time, how it goes. And we are really, that is what which keeps on ticking, because it keeps us moving in a way. So what happens in this Virata Rupa, then we have how the Lord will be again represented by 3, 10 and 1 forms, the universal forms, where basically it is the body, mind, and the senses. So what happens now from this body, from this Virata Rupa, then the Lord separates themselves, into different elements, and where the separation comes out, then he gives that form in a way how we can use it, where the living entity will start using for the functioning of themselves. So first thing which is explained over here is the Agni, where the Agni is the fire, where the fire is separated from the mouth. And what does it represent? It represents your way of expressing yourself. When you express yourself, how do you express yourself? Of course, people can do actions and all that, but most of the time, we understand each other only when they speak. So in the form of words. So a person can express themselves best by the form of words. So there, the Lord separates himself from this particular Mahatattva, or the Virata Rupa, in the form of Agni. And then that energy, how do we utilize in our human life or in our living entity? How does the living entity utilize it? In the form of words and to express themselves. Similarly, again, when you go, it is again from the palate, from the mouth, the palate, then the water comes out, and that is Varuna. And over there, why is the water? The water, what does the water represent? It represents the sensation of taste. So you can taste the food, taste the liquids, taste the air, taste anything by this particular energy. Like that, every organ is given every organ is formed, and from them comes a particular energy. So the nostrils that we have, that is for smell, and that is obviously the dwelling place for Ashwini Kumaras. And then the eyes. So the eyes is by the sun, and therefore we get the light from the eye. So that's the energy represents the light, where we can see things. All these, mind you, all these are to be used for the service of the Lord. That's what we should remember. That is the whole purpose of all this creation. And then we have, after that, from the skin. The skin has different functions again over here. From the skin, the Lord separates, and then and obviously from every energy, the Lord gives a demigod to look after. So in this, for the skin, we have Anila. Over here, you can get the formation of wind. So the air comes over here. Then you can feel the touch, basically. When you feel the touch sensation, so that through the air, because of the air, you can feel the touch sensation. So you can utilize that sort of energy for a purpose. And then the ears again are the most important ones, because they provide the major form of energy to hear the Lord's pastimes. And and this is one of the most important ones. And then from the skin again, you have from the hairs which come from the skin, they perform the energy is again transformed into itching. So when a person has any irritations for the itching, and that is again for the sense of touch. The similar way, you have genitals now. So genitals is again Prajapati is the Lord, but then that is to enjoy for the sexual pleasure. So that sensation, that genitals is given, Lord performs that becomes that energy. And then we have again the evacuating channels, which you can see this is how a part of a human body they're trying to, this is a similar way how a human body or any animal or any body will have these organs. So the evacuating channels we have is to remove all the stool and urine from your body. So the person who is the demigod, who is responsible, who is the director, or who is held responsible for those activities, called Mitra. And then again, now we have the hands and the legs and all that. For the hands, Indra, the demigod, is the main person who is given the charge. And what is the purpose of the hands is so that you can transact business for livelihood. So with your hands, you can do a lot of functions. And so this is another way of how the energy is being transformed. Similarly, the legs will ask you for movement to take you to your destinations or to go wherever the Lord, he directs you in a way. So that is looked after by the demigod called Vishnu, who is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we have again for the other energies for intelligence. Now, intelligence we have, how is that separated? By understanding. So how do you use this energy? So if you have intelligence, you can understand whatever is being said, or whatever through your senses you can understand. If you do not have that power of intelligence, then it'll be just like nothing, like a person is just staring into the blank air but can't understand. So cognition comes into over there, where intelligence and cognition and thinking, all that is so important, because that actually for a human, when you look into a present society, all your functions and your destinations depend upon this intelligence and this cognition, to know, to decide, to understand. This understanding power is so important, and it divides societies because of this understanding power also. So who is the Lord of this understanding power is Brahma. And so this is, again, you have to understand, is one of the most important energies over there. Now, the most important one is called the heart. So the heart, and from the heart comes, so the demigod. The demigod comes and manifests moon. The moon, the Chandra. Chandra goes and actually he is the ruler of the heart. And because of that, you keep on speculating a lot, and it gives you the feeling of trying to understand the emotions. So people who are a little bit anxious or a bit jittery, they're quite emotional people. So for them, the ruler is the moon demigod. And then we have the ego, which we have. All of us talk about the mind, intelligence, and ego. So the ego, who else but Rudra? So the ignorance, it comes from the form of ignorance. Where Rudra, he is the controller of false ego, or Shiva in a way. And people actually misunderstand Rudra, but I think we have to understand that if you when people pray to Lord Shiva, then he actually avoids you going into that, having that false ego. So he takes that ignorance out of you. So then you have this consciousness. So the consciousness is the main thing of how all the living entities are moving around or doing the activities. And that, who is the controller of consciousness, is this Virata Rupa or Mahatattva. So the big material energy which we had, that is the consciousness. Consciousness is the very important part of the every living entity. And without consciousness, there is no life. So whether the consciousness is in a small living entity or in a large person or in a demigod or in a demon, or it is because of the consciousness, we are what we are. And then again over here, it goes on to say that how from the different part of the Virata Rupa, from the head, you have the heavenly planets are developed, and we have and who lives in the heavenly planets? All the demigods live in the heavenly planets. And from the legs of the Virata Rupa, we earthly beings live there. Its earthly planets are developed. And now from his abdomen, then the sky is the main representative of the abdomen. So basically, there's a broad three categories with the divided Virata Rupa into. Now, so again, from here, they say from the Virata Rupa, the different features of the body. So they say from the mouth, from the mouth of the Virata Rupa, they've given this varnashrams, which have the Brahmanas, the Brahmanas come out from the mouth, and they are supposed to actually the natural leaders or natural speakers, and they actually have that knack of talking very fluently and giving the right knowledge to the people to all, so that there is order in the society, and to help the people to have their livelihood and direct them properly, actually. So the Brahmanas are the ones who are really looked upon and most revered in the society because of the knowledge they have, and they can guide the society. And the second part of the body from the Virata Rupa is the arms. From there, we have these people called Kshatriyas, who are the protectors of the society. So their role is to keep away the thieves and then the robbers and everybody, so that they can protect the society. So for the society, all different, how the different forms of different parts of Virata Rupa are used. Then we have from the thighs come the Vaishya community, or the Vaishyas, who are basically the business people, and their role is to produce grains and then for feeding the people. That is their role. And then from the feet or from the legs come the people who are for the service. Their role is to serve, and to serve whom? The personality of Godhead, and basically to serve religious functions. So these are called Shudras, and they satisfy the Lord only by serving the Lord. So all these were done so that we could get into our activity and learn in a disciplined society, be in a disciplined society. And our main goal is how we can get back our consciousness back and to understand and remember our constitutional position, so that how we can serve the Lord and go back to Godhead. So, but over here we have to understand that everybody has their own duty. So everybody does their own dharma. When they do their own dharma, that means they're doing their own duties, and that is more important. Dharma is very, very important. And through the dharma, you can do your service to the Lord. And that is why they have been said. But now you can see how this particular 4 sections have been totally adulterated, and they become so materialistic, and it has become so like black and white in a way that people are degrading these divisions and then bringing in so much of chaos and enmity among society, which is actually not the right way. So we need really good seers and good sages and good, Vaishnavas to educate the society about what the actual means of these four varnas, So it's very, very important. So over here, now what Maitreya Muni says is that the human form is the topmost form, and it says that why is it the topmost form? Because we have that knowledge and the intelligence to discuss the activities of the Lord, to actually glorify the Lord and to live in the life of the Lord, how the Lord has been living, how Krishna and his pastimes have been formed. So you can go and be in that by even listening to the stories and by listening to the pastimes, you can be in that area, in that era. So over here, then it comes to saying this is how the chapter ends over here, by saying that Brahma, who is the original poet, or who is the original creator, but Brahma is not the creator. He is basically, in a way, the Lord is the creator, but he's given him all the materials, and Brahma is like how you have a contractor who does all the buildings of the houses and all that similar type. He's been given a contract to make all these human beings, but the main raw materials are already provided by the creator. So this is what we have to understand in this whole chapter. This is what has been said, but I would like to really bring out a very couple of things which I've seen in the verses. I want to read them out because they're really very nice, and plus I'll just go through them a bit more in detail. So in the purport of 3, it was really so over here is you have to understand that every individual soul, so how we were before, so every individual soul remains unconscious when the creation was dissolved. So after the dissolution of the creation, every individual soul remains unconscious. So they have no consciousness. They're just flat over there, no energy at all. And then when the energy, how does energy come into this soul? When the Lord enters with his material energy. So these individual souls, I'm just trying to go of how, because every time we think about what is fate, what is this and that. So I just want to read this paragraph which Srila Prabhupada explained so beautifully. I just want to read it through if I may. So over here it says, every individual soul remains unconscious after the dissolution of the creation, and thus enters into the Lord with his material energy. So the soul enters into the Lord with his material energy. So these individual living entities are conditioned souls everlastingly. So they are always conditioned. But in each and every material creation, they're given a chance to liberate themselves and become free souls. So all of us are conditioned souls, but the Lord is giving us a chance to liberate ourselves. So we as human beings have got this nice chance to liberate ourselves and to become free. So they are all given a chance to take advantage of the Vedic wisdom and find out what is the relationship with the Supreme Lord and how they can be liberated and what the ultimate profit is in such liberation. So by properly studying the Vedas, one becomes conscious of his position and thus takes to the transcendental devotional service of the Lord and is gradually promoted to the spiritual sky. And the individual souls in the material world engage in different activities according to their past unfinished desires. So the more desires we have, the more we are stuck here. So that's why take a scissor and cut all those desires. That's what we have to do. Chop, 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 cut them off. So after the dissolution of a particular body, the individual soul then forgets everything. But the Lord, as merciful as he is, He is situated in everyone's heart, and he is a witness over there as a super soul. He will awaken him up, awakens him and reminds him of his past desires. And thus he begins to act accordingly in his next life. So these unseen guidance is described as fate. So this guidance which we have, they're saying is as fate, and a sensible man can understand that this continues his material bondage in the three modes of material nature. I thought that was a very nice part which I wanted to say, that because how we think about the fate. And then the unconscious sleeping stage of the living entity, just after the partial or total dissolution of the creation, is wrongly accepted as the final stage by some less intelligent people. Okay, that we don't need to go over there, because they always think that we have to understand that this consciousness is very, very important. Now, coming to the Virata Rupa, and the one more verse I wanted to see was about how the elements of the cosmic creation are. So again, over here, I wanted to say how nothing will grow if the Lord would not enter into it. So the Lord is giving the energy. Till such time, if somebody has not given that energy or the light, then a person will not grow. So all of us are able to do our functions because of the spirits or we have in us, or the soul we have in us. So we have to understand that without the soul, we are nothing. So without the soul, without the spirit, the matter will not increase. The matter stops increasing. So, for example, you are saying, like, as long as there's spiritual consciousness within the material body of a living entity, the body will increase to the required size. So, in the womb, till such time the ingredients are right in the womb, till such time the baby's heart is there ticking off, into beating and pumping all the oxygen and the blood. The other organs will not be able to grow. Nothing of the thing will grow. Similarly, the energy of the Lord is the main thing for us. And that is the soul, the spirit. So, which we call as, obviously, Atma. And another one was... So the Lord, he enters into each and every universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So we obviously how from, this is again a different one, sorry. So just going to go through. So basically, again, last time when we saw like how the Virata Rupa, how God has shown his Virata Rupa to Arjuna, and also, he went and showed it to Duryodhana also, but he was not interested to see it. And we remember we did speak how lots of places Lord showed the Virata Rupa. Even to that, what's that clouds we say? Some clouds in Rajasthan, I forgot the name, where the Lord will show his Virata Rupa. So he shows 4 or 5 times to Ma, Yashoda twice, and then to Arjuna, to Duryodhana, and to this other, some clouds in Rajasthan. So Virata Rupa is very, from the Mahatattva, from where all the elements come out, it is obviously the basic of this whole universe. But you have to understand, this universe which we see is only a small portion, and it does not only involve human beings. So you know that this involves all the different types of varshas, all the things, remember all the, when we read the next chapters, we will see how the different universes are built and different types of living entities are living. So all these are included in this Virata Rupa. It is not only human beings, anything, or demigods. I think they're all different universes living over there. And this is equal to, this material universe is only 1/4 of the whole universe, of which 3/4 is the spiritual sky and 1/4 is the material universe. So the universe from where the Mahatattva comes is only 1/4 of it. And then we have 3/4 is the spiritual sky. I think I'll end it over here, and then I would like input from other people, esteemed devotees who are here. Please give your input. We have, I think that is where my limit ends over here, because I think there's a lot to tell, but we have to read a lot of books to say things. I've just gone with the Bhagavatam, but just gone with the purports and the verses. So we need more references to different types of scriptures to go into it, and then tell about this universe. But I wanted to say that when you go to the Vedic planetarium, which we have in Mayapur, they are really doing it so beautifully, and they are trying to explain this whole universe so beautifully to the whole world. So everybody should make a visit, because I think they have made different levels, how they have set the Bhagavatam and how they have created this whole universe is a real thing by itself. They have actually a special chandelier in which they have showed how this whole how the universe and different levels of the planets, absolutely quite wonderful. Apparently that's the plan. I'm just saying about the plan. I don't know whether it's actually active or not. I'm not sure. It's taking time for them to open the whole planetarium, and they have apparently different levels where first in the Vedic planetarium, apparently they show the forest of Naimisharanya as at one level. Then they show all the visions of the material and the spiritual universes at another level, second level, third level. And then they show that at another place they're showing how the bodies change how the soul changes from one body to another. And then it shows how we evolve through species. And it shows the Vishnu and Brahma, and then all the universal form of the Lord. So I think you'll have to go and see that part over there. It'll be quite nice to see and show it to the whole world how Bhagavatam has actually showed us this creation of the universe, which the scientists are actually trying to reveal now. And when you see the Western people are now trying to read Bhagavatam and trying to calculate the time and between different planets and everything, they're trying to take it from the Bhagavatam and trying to calculate. And they have, obviously they're trying to learn the knowledge. What scientists mostly do is, we have to understand that whether Sanatana Dharma or Bhagavatam and everything comes from inside out, The most important thing is the soul. So from the soul comes everything comes out. Whereas the materialistic people will start taking cognizance of the body first, and then they enter into different elements. Like then we take of the body, and then they think about the intelligence, and then they go into the soul. But whereas Bhagavatam starts off with the creation of the soul. So the main thing is the consciousness is the first thing. The body comes later. Okay, without the consciousness, the body is nothing. So I think I'm going to stop here. Please give your input, everybody. And please forgive me for my very lack of knowledge. And it would have been nicer if I could have actually done more slides and do it. But my sincere apologies, lack of time. I've literally rushed through time. So maybe next time, if I have a chance, I will do my presentation with the slides. So it'll be more easy to understand. I know it's just a blabber of words I've done now. And please forgive me for my offenses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You presented
Krishna,
such a nice
Mataji.
class. You put in so much effort, Mataji, for this presentation. Thank you so much.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. It's nice to hear your voice, Mataji, after a long time.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please can
Hare
accept my
Krishna.
humble obeisances, O great Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, you said that you don't have that knowledge. You would not be sitting where you are sitting.
Oh, Mataji, no, please.
Right?
Krishna is there with me. I know we are.
Yes. And thank you very much, Mataji. Nice explanation. You went through so many verses and all. It's not only now that the scientists or the Westerners are reading the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam. They have been reading for years. If we go in France, in some libraries, there are Bhagavad Gita, old Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
Even Hitler, he learned Bhagavad Gita.
Yes,
when they tried the first atomic bomb, they recited the verses from Bhagavad Gita, right? Time
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
So it's not now, but now it's becoming more prominent.
Yes.
That's right. Also, it is amazing how many demigods are there. 33 million, 20 crore. Now, everything has a demigod who is in charge of. Even in Bhagavatam, in Canto 2, chapter 6, verse 45, I think, in the purport of Prabhupada, he wrote that the chicken pox has a Devi, a demigod, and her name is Sitila Devi.
Yes, we have. They pray Mataji at that time.
Yes.
When people had the chicken pox, they used to pray to this Mataji.
Yes. So you see, everything has got a demigod in charge of. We don't know who is in charge of because of so many. Now, just think a tiny disease in our body that has a personality to kind of manage it. So yes, nice explanation, and thank you for this class. You're always there, and I hope you're doing better where you have been now.
Yes, Mataji.
I hope you're doing better where you are now.
Oh yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. I'm just getting along. It's all Krishna's mercy there, and all your blessings, everybody's blessings. I've just whatever Krishna gives, we take it, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the input, Mataji. So anybody can sing a nice song. We have still time.
You sing, Mataji.
Should I sing Shrita Kamala?
That would be nice.
Should I sing that one, Mataji? Are you happy with that? Should we sing that? It'll be quite nice to just end it because there's so much of time.
I am okay with it. You should ask other devotees also, but it's okay.
I'll just quickly get the songs, song from KK songs. I'm just trying to get it out. Is anybody going for the Kumbh Mela?
No, Mataji, I'm not going. It's too far from me.
It's I don't know. I'm just thinking of going, but I don't know. Okay, so I'll just sing this song, which is I like this song so much. It's the Jagannath we have over there. So everybody sings that. So I think I've sang it last time also, but I'll do it again. It is such a nice song. I'll sing it the Oriya way because you can sing different ways also. Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala He Dhruta Kundala He Dhruta Kundala He Kalita Lalita Banamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. রাধে কৃষ্ণ গোবিন্দ গোপাল যশোদার বসুদেব মান নন্দ দুলাল জয় জয় দেব হরে জয় জয় দেব হরে দীনমণি মণ্ডল মণ্ডন হে ভব খণ্ডন হে ভব খণ্ডন হে মুনি জন মানস হংসা জয় জয় দেব হরে রাধে কৃষ্ণ গোবিন্দ গোপাল বসুদেব বাল জয় নন্দ দুলাল জয় জয় দেব হরে জয় জয় দেব হরে কালিয়া বিষধর গঞ্জন হে জন রঞ্জন হে জন রঞ্জন হে যদুকুল নলিন দীনেশ জয় জয় দেব হরে রাধে কৃষ্ণ গোবিন্দ গোপাল বসুদেব বাল জয় নন্দ দুলাল জয় জয় দেব হরে জয় জয় দেব হরে মধুমূর নরক বিনাশানায় গরুড়াসনায় গরুড়াসনায় সুরফুল কেড়ি নিদানা জয় জয় দেব হরে রাধে কৃষ্ণ গোবিন্দ গোপাল বসুদেব বাল জয় নন্দ দুলাল জয় জয় দেব হরে জয় জয় দেব হরে অমল কমল দল লোচন হে ভব মোচন হে ভব মোচন হে ত্রিভুবন ভুবন নিধান জয় জয় দেব হরে রাধে কৃষ্ণ গোবিন্দ গোপাল বসুদেব পাল জয় নন্দ দুলাল জয় জয় দেব হরে জয় জয় দেব হরে জনক সুত কৃত ভূষণ হে জিত দূষণ হে জিত দূষণ হে সমর সমিত দশ কণ্ঠ জয় জয় দেব হরে রাধে কৃষ্ণ গোবিন্দ গোপাল বসুদেব বাল জয় নন্দ দুলাল জয় জয় দেব হরে জয় জয় দেব হরে অভিনব জলধর সুন্দর হে ধৃত মন্দর হে ধৃত মন্দর হে श्रीमुख चंदर चकोरा जय जय देव हरे राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल वसुदेव बाल जय नंद दुलाल जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव हरे तव चरणं प्रणतावयम् इति भावये कुरुकुशलं प्रणतेषु जय जय देव हरे राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल वसुदेव बाल जय नंद दुलाल जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव हरे श्री जय देव कबीर इदं कुरुते मुदं ये मंगलम उज्ज्वल गीतम् जय जय देव हरे राधे कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल वसुदेव बाल जसोदा बाल जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव हरे Jai Shri Krishna. I like to sing it in the way how whichever person who has really written it, because then we feel like we're going into their mind and their heart, the way how they are. Because I'm not a very good, even though my mother tongue is Oriya, I lived in a different state called Andhra, so my Oriya is not the best, but I'm trying my best to sing in the Oriya format. So it'll be quite nice when everybody sings in the languages to bring out those poets, those Vaishnavas, their mood and the way how they're feeling, how they went into when they were writing these songs. It'll be so nice if you all can sing in that particular language or the accent. It'll be very nice. But thank you so much, Mataji, for Prabhuji's and Mataji's for listening. Sorry for
Thank
the
you,
little bit of
Mataji.
mistakes.
Thank you so much. You know, Jayadeva Kavi, he wrote that, right?
Yes.
And when he wrote that, he was very famous. But the king of Oriya, he got a bit envious. So he wrote the same. And then they both went to the temple and they put the poets and the writings in the poems and writing in the temple. Then they say it was at night. In the morning when they woke up, they went to the temple and they saw that Jayadev Goswami's copy was gone. Jagannath took it. And the king's was left there. But after some time, Jayadev Goswami was not happy because when people were singing, they were saying, Jaya Jaya Deva Hari. That Jayadev Goswami wrote for the Lord. But when people were singing, they were glorifying Jayadev Goswami.
Yes.
So he was not happy. So then the Lord came into his dream and said, I want people to glorify you, not me. So that's how it left like Jaya Jaya Deva Hari. And he also wrote the Dasavatara, very beautiful. Yes.
Lots of songs, Mataji, Ashtapadis, lots of Ashtapadis. I'm not able to find the Ashtapadis and KK songs, They're nice. There's so many songs over there of Jayadeva Goswami. And another one, what is that? Chandana Charchita Neela Kalevara Pitavasana Vanamali. This is again a nice song of Jayadeva Goswami. Yes, Mataji. And the lots of Dheera, Samire, lots of songs are there actually.
Thank you, Mataji. You have to sing and then post so that we can keep it and listen. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sorry, we're just bringing up personal stuff, but thank you everyone for listening. And maybe we should do our Vancha Kalpata prayers now, or any questions at all. Sriji Mataji will go for Vancha Kalpata.
Yes, please. And very nice bhajan, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.